Okay, sorry. I would like to read the Christmas story, Matthew, or just part of the Christmas story, Matthew chapter 2. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all of Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Christ was to be born. "In Bethlehem, in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will be the shepherd of my people Israel." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and make a careful search for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I too may go and worship him." After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold and of incense and of myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. When they had gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. "Get up," he said, "take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." So he got up, took the child and his mother during the night, and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod. And so was fulfilled what the Lord had said through the prophet, "Out of Egypt I called my son." When Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious, and he gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity who were 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time he had learned from the Magi. Then what was said through the prophet Jeremiah was fulfilled. "A voice is heard in Ramah, weeping in great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children and refusing to be comforted because they are no more." After Herod died, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother, and go to the land of Israel, for those who were trying to take the child's life are dead." So he got up, took the child and his mother, and went to the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus was reigning in Judah in place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. Having been warned in a dream, he withdrew to the district of Galilee, and he went and lived in a town called Nazareth. So was fulfilled what was said through the prophets, "He will be called a Nazarene." Now I know for those of you that have been in church for a lot of your life, you've heard the Christmas story a lot. And so every year, I think it becomes a little more real to us as we kind of imagine. And, I think of all the Christmas plays I've been to and the Christmas movies and the things where I kind of imagine what it was like to live in Palestine back when Jesus was a baby, or 2 years old. We don't really know. Well, maybe somebody smarter than me knows how old Jesus was when he fled to Egypt, but it was somewhere under the age of 2. So, for me as a child abuse expert and a medical examiner and an expert witness for the court system, when I read the Christmas story, I see adverse childhood experiences. And then it makes me realize, what we're talking about when we're up here preaching about the Christmas story, it's pretty real. It's pretty relevant to people. So let's somehow tie all of this into New Year's resolutions. I don't know if it's going to tie in, but I think it will for some of you, maybe. Okay. Now, the top 10 New Year's resolutions for last year, Now, the thing to notice about these is they're all pretty vague. There's nothing measurable. But, okay, top 10 resolutions last year: lose weight, get organized. That's been my resolution like every day for the last 20 years. Okay, spend less, save more, enjoy life more fully, stay fit and healthy, or stay fit or stay healthy, learn something exciting, quit smoking, help others reach their dreams, fall in love. What does that even mean? How do you make that a resolution? But anyway, okay, sorry. I'm not here to criticize what the survey says that people in the United States, these are their resolutions. Okay, spend more time with family. So we do know with New Year's resolutions that if you don't make a New Year's resolution, you can't break the New Year's resolution, but you also aren't going to accomplish the New Year's resolution. So I'm a big fan of making resolutions, but making them measurable and making them small and doable. And then if I write something big like run a marathon, I'm going to write a whole list of the small steps, like go run 1 mile today, run a half marathon by May, and run a marathon, sometime farther down the road. But in the light of this, what I've suddenly talked to you about with the adverse childhood experiences, and also with adverse puppy experiences, I would like you to, this week, between now and New Year's Day, read Psalm 139. And read the whole thing, and maybe read it more than once. Okay, but here's a little snippet of it. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. A side note, if you've experienced abuse and you read that, your normal reaction should be to get a little bit mad. Because where was God when you were being abused, or when your spouse was leaving, or when the bad things in life were happening? So I want you to read Psalm 139 and make it okay to get mad. And then I want you to think about why you're mad. And one thing that you have to come to grips with is that there is evil in the world. And so Aggie, my dog, was actually named after a woman on the internet, I don't even know who made a lot of really rude comments about the owner of the original owner of Aggie's mom, who had been so abusive. And so this lady, they named Aggie because this lady was so mad and she was cussing at the abusive dog owner. So it's okay to be angry when you recognize evil. And that is what coming to church is for, because we realize that there is evil. And in fact, not only were all of the babies killed in the Bethlehem area under the age of 2, Jesus survived, but he was killed later. And so what we talk about in church, we understand evil. We know that it exists and that it's real. So your other homework as you go home, read Ephesians chapter 1. Read the whole book of Ephesians, really, but especially read Ephesians chapter 1, because this will start telling you who you are. And who you are is not actually an adverse childhood experience. who you are is explained in Ephesians. Praise be to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has blessed us in the heavenly realms with every spiritual blessing in Christ. For he chose us in him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in his sight. If you start thinking about that from a time frame, did he choose you before you were a child? Did he choose you after all the bad stuff? Did he choose you after you lived a life trying to escape from life in your 20s or 30s? How long ago did God know you? And how long ago did he choose you? In him, we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins, in accordance with the riches of God's grace that he lavished on us. Okay. In summary, I'll stop talking now, soon, well, shortly. Write out some specific measurable goals for 2014, and there'll be a quiz next week. Okay, you don't have to, but I'm just curious because I really get into that. I like to know how people are going to better themselves. But be thinking in your New Year's resolution, is there somebody that I need to forgive? Is there something that I need to forgive? Or is there some evil that needs to be forgiven? Do I need to forgive God? Do I need to forgive myself? Recognize evil, because just forgiveness, churches that just preach forgiveness and don't preach evil are really lame churches, because we don't forgive people who, we forgive, but we don't let people continue to abuse us or abuse others. And if we just forgive them, but we don't stop them, then we are participating with them. So if evil is happening and we're not stopping the evil as much as is in our power, then we are the abuser. So as you forgive, also be thinking, is there evil that I can help to stop? Or evil that I just need to recognize that happened 50 years ago that nobody ever called evil. They just called it, old uncle is just weird. And nobody said he's evil and he's abusing people. So call it evil if you're going to try to forgive it. And then what's most powerful is choosing to love evil people, or love people despite the evil things that they do. So God may be wanting you to make a resolution about loving somebody. And it may be not somebody that's particularly evil. Maybe it's just somebody that's particularly smelly. Or maybe it's somebody that you just grew up not liking because they listen to weird kind of music, or something like that. So God may want you to try to love somebody in particular. Okay, now another thing, the most recent child abuse training I went to was by a world famous psychiatrist and psychologist. And he's been around long enough that he kind of got bored with talking about the normal stuff, and he kind of went off on this tangent about how powerful music is in helping to heal our brains and helping to heal our hearts. And he especially talked about rhythm and rhythm instruments and drums, and how that's a part of cultures as many thousands of years back as we can go in world history. And what went off in my head was, wait a second, we do that at church every Sunday. We play music. So God has given us some really pretty cool tools for healing and growth. And one of those is music, and one of those is church, because we have a social network of people that every week we have to drag ourselves out of bed on a weekday when it would be nice to stay in bed, and we come and hang out with people. And that is incredibly healing and helpful, especially good Christian folks like you. Okay. I think that's about everything that I wanted to talk about. Well, I don't know if we should open it up for questions. I'll be around. If anyone has questions about adverse childhood experiences or something that I'm an expert on, come and ask me. Or you can always ask the pastor too. Let's have a song.
Let's have a song.